Hello, this is Dr. K, and welcome to the lost stack testing videos. They weren't really lost, they were never really created. So about a half a year after the fact, I am creating some videos for testing the bounded stack component. All right, so let me see what we have to do here. To test this, let me just refresh my memory. I'm going into stack library here. And actually, I believe I created Java docs for these, so I will just go into the Java docs. Okay, so here are the methods that I have to test. Capacity clear, copy, depth, flip, is empty, is full, is valid, cannot be tested. I'll talk about that. New instance, pop, push. Okay, and I believe I also wanted to test the equals method, the hash code method, and the toString method, which are inherited from object. Okay, so let's get started. This may take a little while to refresh my memory here, but here we have our abstract stack, we have our array stack, and we have our list stack. So I think at this point the easiest thing to do, which I highly recommend, here's the list stack, and the list stack was the easiest one to create. So the easiest thing to do is to test this list stack. And what's going to happen is I'm going to test it in such a way where I can use almost the exact same code for the array stack that I used to test the list stack. So let's go ahead and do that. So there are some preliminary things I want to do before we create the test. One is that some folks have said that WebCat is complaining about throwing null pointer exceptions here. And that's because the style guidelines of WebCat are based on PMD and check style. Okay, so if you go to the web and you say Java PMD rules, and you take a look at some of the PMD rules, okay, they've got a lot of rules here, but I can do a Control F and search for null pointer exception, which you can see I've already searched for here. And we get some rules here about misplaced null pointer exceptions, but the relevant rule that I want to show you is this one. Let me see if I can increase the, well, okay. Sorry about that. Is this one, avoid throwing null pointer exceptions. It's confusing because most people will assume that the virtual machine threw it. Consider using an illegal argument exception instead. This will be clearly seen as a programmer-initiated exception. Okay, that seems like a very reasonable rule to me. So let's go back to our Eclipse and change these null pointer exceptions to illegal argument exceptions. Okay, and I'm just going to copy that, paste it there, save it. Okay, that's for list stack, and then we have to go into the array stack and do the same thing. There's our null pointer exception. We're going to change that to illegal argument. Okay, and then we're going to save that. And I think that is it. I don't think we have any null pointer exceptions in the abstract stack. Okay, fantastic. So the other thing that I want to do, just because WebCat style guidelines are sometimes turned on for a project, I'm going to go ahead and change my style guidelines. Okay, and if you go here, I'm going to collapse this and just show you where this is. If you go to Java code style formatter, all right, let me expand this a little bit. You can see that it's using Eclipse built-in style guidelines, and for the most part, those are fairly good, but I'm going to edit those a little bit. There's two things basically that if you're using WebCat, it doesn't like. One is the indentation. Eclipse says tabs only. We're going to change that to spaces only. And in order to save this, I have to name this something else. I'm just going to name this WebCat. So I've got this as spaces only, and the other thing is line wrapping. Eclipse uses 120. I'm going to use 80. Okay, I'm going to apply that. I'm going to say OK, apply. OK, so now I'm using my WebCat style guidelines. I'm just going to ignore that thing. All right, so now I think we're set to go ahead and start creating some unit tests.